Hi YouTube, this is Rose. So I want to talk to you today about reusing products. Now, you might all think this is a little crazy, but I want to tell you something. And I know I've said some of this in my past videos, so this is new for whoever's new on here watching, but I want to reiterate it. So I don't buy garbage bags. My kids do. They use garbage bags out there. I don't use them back in my room. I live in a little bedroom. You don't need to buy a bunch of stuff like that. One little 10-bag box of garbage bags can last you a year. You might not have to use them at all. So these boxes, now this one's full. Let me tell you what I do after my box is empty. This is really important because we're helping the landfill. You know, those garbage bags, they don't break down. You know, so I really don't use them that often. When this is empty, I will wash out this plastic bag. And you can see I already cut the top off. Or no, this one here I didn't. That one there. I probably won't have to because it opened up. Usually they rip, so I just normally cut the top off. But what I do, I wash it out. I will air it out. Make sure it's completely dry before I use it. And I will use that bag to freeze stuff in. Or to put more dry goods in there. If I have some leftover cookies or something, why hold on to the package? You know, you have a couple cookies, just throw it in one of these, clip it shut, and then you have them. They don't go stale as fast as if you use a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags, I reuse them too. I will wash them out, turn them inside out, let them air dry really good, flip them back over, and then reuse them. I throw them right back into the empty Ziploc bag box. You know, that way I keep reusing the same box. Now this empty box, what I do is I will then use that as my waste can. And I will throw my garbage in here. Now if you have wet garbage, you know, something that's really soggy or something like that, then I recommend using a grocery bag or whatever. Or if you have one of these that's been used up 50 million times and you just have too many of you want to then you might want to put something like that in there to catch all that liquid. But I reuse them separately. And then when it's all filled, I just close it up just like that and walk it out to my garbage can and throw it right in. That way I'm using it. It saves room in my garbage can. You know, you can throw a bunch of empty boxes in your garbage can, but they build up and then you don't have room for your garbage. By doing this, you're creating a lot of room in your garbage. Oh my goodness. Definitely reuse this stuff. So I am going to be living out of my truck. As you've heard, if you watched my past videos, just temporarily. It's kind of like doing a trial run. I'm going to put this back in here so I have it. So I really going to have to learn how to conserve, how to reuse everything. And I do. For the most part, I do a lot now. So these bottles, now this is my Gatorade. When they're empty, a lot of times now, if I have a whole bunch of them, I just recycle them. But sometimes I will save them and reuse them. Keep coins in. You can put them in your car. That way you get change from something, throw it in there, you know. They're so easy to use for different things. But what I like to do, especially they have the wide mouth, I like to fill them up with waters and other drinks, you know. And then I can put them in my refrigerator. They're already serving size then. You know, you can have one big gigantic gallon of something in your fridge taking up room, or you can have a bunch of these little ones and pull out just what you need. You know, I often reuse these for different things like that. And you can, there's a ton of uses for these things. Let me tell you, I've seen people cut these down, put holes in the bottom, and then use them as planters. Really think about how you can reuse them. And reuse your plastics as much as you can. Like reuse, 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 reuse. You know, I go to the Chinese place and they always give you those plastic containers with the plastic lids. I reuse them 100 times before I decide to recycle them. Huge. Coffee cans. Now this one's empty. On my Maxwell house. It needs washed out, so there's still coffee grounds in there. These here I wash out. I air out real good. And I save them. Not only are they a good place to store cookies or whatnot, but let me tell you, if you make a big pot of soup, a big pot of chili, and I'm going to move that down a little bit. If you make something like that and you have a lot of leftovers, put your soup and chili in here, your leftover spaghetti sauce, whatever, put some masking tape on the top, put the date on there, and write on it what it is in permanent marker. Put it right in your freezer. That way, if you have one of those days where you just really need, you know the next day you're going to be busy with doctor's appointments, work, laundry, everything else all jammed together. Get this out the night before and let it all out. And then heat it up. Your meal is already cooked. Now, it doesn't, because it is, plastic, it will freeze or burn faster. So you can't I wouldn't keep it in there longer than 3 to 6 months. But, what I tend to like to do, sorry, it's a little warm in here. What I tend to like to do is freeze my soup in a plastic bag. And then I'll put it on a cookie sheet, stick it in my freezer. Once it's frozen solid, then I will take it out and put it in a resealable bag or a resealer bag, and then seal it, vacuum seal it, so that it will last several years then. It may last as much longer than what this would. But this is a quick use of something like this. You want to give out soups to the neighbors or something? Instead of giving them your good dishes, just put in this and tell them. Say, hey, don't worry, it's a clean container. I put some soup in, I'm sending it over, and then let them recycle it, or reuse it. However, reuse, reuse, reuse. So, no, you're all going to laugh at this next one. And I'm going to give you comments. So, here's my paper plates and my paper bowls. I reuse these. Now, if they have sticky stuff or wet stuff sticking to them, then I will throw them out. I have reused these paper plates and these bowls, mostly for sandwiches and stuff like that. I have reused them like 20 times, and they're still like in really good shape. Like, I might have one or two that, has stuff. That's hard, whatever it is. But that's okay. That's okay. And you can see if I get this super close, that it's like, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's getting a little stained up, from reusing it. After I'm done reusing them, and I've used them over and over and over again, I will then take these paper plates or bowls, and I will, those ones there are sticking together. Oh, I don't know what was on that one, but that one was a little sticky. It actually ripped my other plate. I will take it and put it upside down on top of the stuff that I'm microwaving. That way, my microwave stays clean. Just set it on top. The airflow can get in there so your food is still heating up evenly. And the paper plate keeps stuff from splattering all over your microwave. So I've been doing that for years. Put that other one on top because there's something on there. Next thing, where am I? Reusing your plastic baggies. Now this one here came off of I think this one came off Dixie bowls. So I saved my little plastic. It looks funny, but I resaved these. And I only use these a few times. I don't keep reusing and reusing. And this one tore really super easy because it's very thin plastic. So what I do with this, and you're going to laugh, I will take leftovers and I will put this instead of using plastic wrap. It's the same thing. It doesn't keep it as tight. And I will stick that in my refrigerator like that. It's covered in plastic. Same thing as plastic wrap. Sits perfectly in there. I can just throw it right in. Why buy up a bunch of plastic wrap when you can reuse? So, back to the plastic, and I'm going to set that one off to the side. Another thing, if you're using your soup bowls or whatever, instead of taking out that and putting it into a plastic container, because we all know plastic leaches into your food. What you can do, you know, or instead of using something like this, you can take, if you have a little soup bowl, you can then take a saucer, like you would put underneath your teacup or something, that kind of saucer, and stick that on top as a lid and put that in your refrigerator. I've been doing that for years too. Now, I don't put pots and pans in my fridge because metal can cause botulism. I don't know how, but I know I've heard of it. You don't put tin cans in your fridge. Pots and pans you don't put in your fridge. But something like that, your bowls, your plates that you can cover easily with another plate, save yourself from buying all that plastic. Instead of going out and buying tinfoil and plastic, saran wrap, every two months or 3 months, however long it takes you to buy, you know, start using this. 1 box of plastic wrap is now lasting you a year and a half instead of every 2 months. Really rethink using this stuff. So, I know I said this before, my tissue boxes, there's an empty one. Right now, I got my extra little grocery bags that I keep in. It keeps them nice and compact. I can set this anywhere. I can decorate the outside if I wanted to. I can put pictures of the family on there. I can do all kinds of stuff with it. That's where I keep all my plastic bags. Now, these have multiple uses. Let's say this is starting to rip up or getting bulged out and no longer looks pretty. I will then, once it's empty, take this and use that as a garbage can. Put it right next to my chair, stick my garbage in it. When it's filled, take it out, throw it in my garbage can. I'm telling you, these things work. I have multiple uses for these. I've already decorated the outside of them and cut the top off, and then used as a decorative box to hold extra stuff that I want to keep out of sight. You can put it on a shelf. You're reusing. Reuse it. Any way you can. Reuse it 20 times before you throw it in the garbage. Let me tell you, not only are we saving our landfills, but it's going to make your house look cute, you know. You decorate it and put it up there, whatever. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can use decorative tape. You can paint them. You can use wallpaper on it if you want. If you find some really cute wallpaper, or that, what do you call that little 6-inch paper that goes around like a border. You can use that on there, you know. You can do a lot of things with these. And they're great for kids to store all their little tiny things in it, you know. Cut off the top and say, okay, I want all your Legos in this box. And if you want to, you can take, you know, glue a couple little Legos on the outside so the kid sees Legos. He knows the Legos go in that box, you know. Just little things to keep in mind. Reuse. I reuse everything. Oh, back to plastics. I wanted to finish my plastics and I got off on another. Now, this one here came with, they're not sweatpants. They're leggings with like the sheepskin on the inside. But they're actual leggings. But they're made for winter wear outside. So my daughter got me some. Now, this one here has little holes in it, you know, for airflow. These are great. If you want to store something that you don't want to get all yellow or all, you know what I mean, from sitting up in your attic, whatever. I reuse them. I put other clothes in it and store it flat somewhere, you know. You can reuse these. Or sometimes I use, as my plastic, I can put my paper plate of food or my actual plate of food. It will fit. I will reuse it. Reuse it any way I can. So these are just some of the things I do with my plastic. And I do keep them, like, I'll find a spot to put them all, fold them up, stick them in something. Now you're thinking, what am I doing with a Gatorade? So this plastic, a lot of times now, I will cut off these ends where they've been vacuum sealed tight, you know. So I will cut off those ends so it's flat. Then I can have a flat piece of plastic. But let me tell you, if you have a drafty spot in your house, you can literally use this plastic in that area to cover that area up where it's coming in. You know, you have one outlet where the airflow just comes through, you know. It's winter time. Put that plastic around it, you know. You don't have to be shoving it in there or anything. You can find a way to put it up there, put something against it so it's not, you know, so you're not losing it. The plastic's going to definitely block that airflow. These things, if you have airflow coming in from your trunk of your vehicle, these things work great. You can find those spots where that airflow is coming through and block that airflow. I use these for all different kinds of things. Now, when I get too many, I'll take them to the recycling. I just recycle them where you recycle your grocery bags, you know. Of course, I try to reuse as much as I can before I do that. And they, like I said, you store them anywhere. Just throw your stuff up, store it anywhere, because you're reusing. And those cereal boxes, now I don't have a cereal box with me, but let me tell you, my daughter did this years ago, and I absolutely loved this idea. So she would cut the cereal box. Where's my little box? She would cut it like this, and then up the other side like that. And then she would use it to put her files in it. She could set it up, put a couple bookends next to it, set it up. All her files were right there and was easily to get. She was very genius with coming up some of these ideas for these boxes. She's reused them, cut them up. Let me tell you, build yourself your kid a toy with a cereal box, you know. Cut it out and make them a little princess house or something, you know, for their little dolls. You can do a million things with them. Use them up. Make paper dolls with them. Whatever you want to do. You can find something to reuse these boxes. Reuse them as many times as you can. Plastic. Find a way to reuse it. Let me tell you, if you're prepping, you might not be able, you know, if things hit the fan, we might be to a point where we can't afford the garbage man, or all of a sudden there's no more garbage services. You may want to think in those terms, or you may want to think in the terms of being frugal. Frugality, you know, hey, why spend money when I have 100 things that I can reuse? These paper boxes, now this one's a real sturdy one. Like, I like them when they're sturdy. So this is my old Sunny D box. I will use this in my prepper pantries. They're great for shelving. You can definitely stock them on top. It keeps everything from falling all over the place. I absolutely love these. I will sometimes, you know, when you're doing Christmas presents, you can put whatever in here, lay a cutout piece of cardboard on top, tape it up, wrap it up. It's perfect for Christmas presents because they pick it up. It's a nice sturdy box. You know, it's not going to crumble and mess up whatever's in there. You can use these for shipping. You can put these inside of another box to whatever you do. You can reuse this stuff for so much stuff. And let me tell you, if you get enough of these corrugated boxes,